Every night before going to sleep, 7-year-old Noah drew the same house. It stood alone on a lonely hill with 3 tall windows, a black wooden door, and a crooked chimney. His mother, Emma, had seen the drawing hundreds of times, but she had never understood why Noah refused to draw anything else. She bought him colorful pencils and expensive sketchbooks, took him to the park, and asked him to draw trees, birds, and people. But every evening, when darkness covered the windows, Noah returned to his bedroom and drew the same strange house. On rainy night, Emma quietly entered his room and found him sitting beside the window. The room was almost completely dark except for the small lamp beside his bed. Noah was staring at his latest drawing. Emma smiled and asked him why he liked that house so much. Noah did not answer. After a few seconds, he looked at her and whispered that the house was waiting for someone. Emma felt an uncomfortable chill. She asked who the house was waiting for. Noah lowered his head and said that he did not know, only knew that every night the house looked different. When he closed his eyes, Emma looked carefully at the drawing. At first everything appeared normal, then she noticed something that had never been there before. A small figure was standing behind the black door. She leaned closer. The figure looked like a little girl. Emma asked Noah who she was. Noah suddenly grabbed the paper and turned it over, told his mother that she was not supposed to see the girl. Emma asked why. Noah looked toward the bedroom window and whispered that the girl had told him not to tell anyone. Emma felt her heart beating faster. She asked when the girl had spoken to him. Noah pointed toward the drawing. He said she spoke every night after he finished drawing the house. At that night, Emma stayed beside Noah until he fell asleep, but shortly before midnight she heard a strange sound coming from his bedroom. It sounded like a pencil moving slowly across paper. Emma opened the door. Noah was asleep. Something on his desk had changed. A new drawing was lying beneath his hand. Emma picked it up. The strange house was still there, but this time it had something new. A second door had appeared beneath the stairs and it was wide open. The next morning, Emma found Noah sitting silently at the breakfast table. He looked tired and kept staring at the rain falling against the kitchen window. Emma placed a cup of warm milk in front of him and asked about the second door. Noah became completely silent. After a moment, he told her that the house had been changing for 3 nights. First, one of the windows had opened, and then a light had appeared inside the house, and now there was another door. Emma asked what was behind it. Noah shook his head and said he had never been brave enough to draw what was inside. Emma wanted to throw all the drawings away, but Noah became frightened and told her that the house would become angry. Emma tried to convince him that it was only a drawing, but Noah did not smile. Said that the house was not only a drawing. That afternoon, Emma went into the attic. She wanted to find something that might explain why Noah was drawing the same strange house every night. While searching through an old wooden box, she discovered a photograph. She froze the moment she saw it. The photograph showed a house standing alone on a hill. Emma stared at it in disbelief. House looked exactly like the one Noah had been drawing. Same 3 windows, same crooked chimney, same black wooden door. Even the hill looked identical. Emma turned the photograph over. There was an old date written on the back, 25 years earlier. Under the date were 3 words: our first home. Emma suddenly remembered something from her childhood. Her mother had once mentioned an old house outside the village, but she had always refused to explain why the family had left it. Emma searched through the box again. She found another photograph. This one showed her mother standing beside the house. A little girl was standing next to her. Emma stared at the child. It was her. She had been only 3 years old. That evening, Emma sat beside Noah and asked him if the little girl in his drawing had dark hair. Noah nodded. She asked if the girl wore a red coat. Noah looked shocked. He whispered that she did. Emma showed him the photograph. Noah looked at it for several seconds, then he pointed at the little girl and said that she was the girl who visited him every night. Emma could barely speak. She told Noah that the little girl was her, but Noah shook his head and said the girl was not his mother. She was someone who looked like her. Then Noah picked up his pencil without saying another word. He began drawing. Emma watched in silence. At this time, the strange house had its second door wide open, and behind it stood an older woman holding a small child. Emma could not sleep that night. The old photograph remained on the table beside her bed. She kept thinking about the little girl in the red coat. Next morning, she called her mother for several seconds. Neither woman spoke. Emma finally asked about the old house. Her mother immediately became silent and she asked where Emma had found the photograph. Emma told her everything. In a third long silence followed. Finally, her mother admitted that the house had once belonged to their family. She said Emma had lived there for a short time when she was very young, but one night something terrible had happened and Emma had disappeared. Her mother had searched for her for hours before finding her near the old house. Emma remembered nothing about that. Neither mother had taken her away and never returned. Emma asked about the little girl. Her mother said there had been another child who lived nearby. Her name was Lily, had often played with Emma. They had been very close, but after the accident Lily disappeared. Felt a cold feeling in her chest. She asked what had happened to Lily. Her mother refused to answer. Then she ended the conversation. That evening Noah began drawing again. Emma sat beside him and watched every movement. Drew the hilt, drew the three windows, drew the crooked chimney, drew the black door. Then he drew Lily standing beside the house. At this time the girl was crying. Emma asked Noah what she wanted. Noah said she wanted Emma to remember. Emma asked what she had forgotten. Noah looked at her with tears in his eyes. Said Lily had been waiting for her for 25 years. Emma asked why. Noah said Lily had promised to wait until Emma remembered what happened, and Emma felt as if the room had become colder. She looked at the drawing again. Lily was standing beside the second door, but this time the door was completely open. Emma asked Noah what was inside. He pointed toward the drawing. There was a small red box beneath the wooden floor. Noah told her that the box contained the truth about the night Emma disappeared. Asked how he knew. Noah said Lily had shown him. Then he drew something else. A small path leading away from the house. At the end of the path stood a little girl. She was holding out her hand. Noah looked at his mother, told her that Lily wanted her to come back to the house. Emma knew she could no longer ignore what was happening. The next morning, she decided to return to the place where everything had begun. The next morning Emma took Noah back to the old house. The road was almost empty and heavy gray clouds covered the sky. As they climbed the hill, Emma felt a strange sense of recognition. She had not remembered the place for 25 years, yet somehow every step felt familiar. When they reached the top, Emma stopped. The house was still standing. It looked older than it had in the photograph. Every detail was exactly the same: 3 windows, crooked chimney, black wooden door. Noah held his mother's hand tight. Light whispered that Lily was inside. Emma slowly opened the door. The house was covered in dust. Air smelled of old wood and rain. They walked through several empty rooms. Then Noah suddenly stopped and pointed toward the floor beneath the stairs. Emma looked down. On wooden board appeared loose. She lifted it carefully. Beneath the floor was a small red box. Her hands began to shake. She opened it. Inside was an old letter and a faded photograph. Emma unfolded the letter. It had been written by her mother many years earlier. The letter explained everything. In the night Emma disappeared, she had followed Lily into the house. Lily had discovered a hidden room beneath the stairs. Inside that room was the red box. Lily wanted to show Emma something, but before they could leave, a fire had started. Emma had been carried outside by a neighbor. Lee had gone back inside to save the box. She never came out. Emma dropped the letter. Suddenly memories came rushing back. She remembered smoke filling the hallway. She remembered Lily pushing her toward the door. She remembered Lily telling her to run, and she remembered promising that she would come back, but she never did. Tears filled Emma's eyes. Then Noah looked toward the hallway. A soft voice called his name. Emma heard it too. At the end of the hallway stood a woman. She looked exactly like the woman Noah had drawn. Emma knew immediately who she was: Lily. But Lily was no longer a little girl. She had waited all those years. Emma whispered that she was sorry. Lily smiled sadly. She did not blame her. She only pointed toward the final room. Noah slowly walked toward it. Emma followed him. Inside they found a small wooden chair. Beside an old window on the wall was a child's drawing. It showed 2 little girls holding hands. Behind them stood a house on a hill. Emma realized that Lily had drawn it many years ago. It was the same house Noah had been drawing every night. Lily looked at Emma. Then she looked at Noah, smiled. She told them that the drawing was finally complete. The room became completely silent. Emma held Noah close while Lily stood beside the old window. For the first time, Emma understood why Noah had been drawing the house every night, had not imagined I had been seeing a memory that had been buried inside his mother for 25 years. Slowly looked at Emma. She told her that she had never wanted revenge. She had only wanted someone to remember her. Emma cried as she promised that Lily would never be forgotten again. Lily smiled. Then something strange happened. A warm golden light slowly filled the room. Dark windows became bright. Old walls seemed to lose their shadows. Black wooden door opened by itself. Beyond it was not a dark room. There was a beautiful garden filled with flowers. Lily stepped toward the doorway. Before leaving, she looked back at Noah. She thanked him for drawing the house. Noah smiled through his tears. Then Lily disappeared into the lighthouse, became completely silent. Emma and Noah returned home before sunset. That evening, Noah placed all his old drawings on the table. For the first time, he did not draw the strange house. Instead, he drew two children standing together in a beautiful garden. Emma asked him if the house would return. Noah shook his head and said the house was no longer waiting. It had finally found peace. Years passed. Emma kept every drawing Noah had made. She also kept the old photograph and the letter inside the same wooden box. Whenever Noah asked about Lily, she told him the truth. She told him that sometimes people disappear from our lives, but their memories remain. On winter evening many years later, Noah found an old drawing at the bottom of the box. He had never seen it before. The drawing showed the same hill, same house, but there was no black door. There was only a bright open gateway. Figures stood beyond it, and beneath them were four words: "Thank you for remembering me." Noah stared at the drawing, then he looked at his mother. Emma began to cry. She knew Lily had finally found the peace she had been waiting for. From that night onward, Noah never drew the strange house again. He drew gardens, drew sunlight, drew children holding hands, and whenever he saw a lonely house on a distant hill, he smiled because he understood something that most people never learn. Sometimes a forgotten memory does not return to frighten you. Sometimes it returns because it is waiting to be understood. And sometimes the person we thought we had lost forever is only waiting for someone to remember their name.